Coming up on today's wrestling news are a former WWE stable headed to AEW.
AEW tears up the Grand Slam card on Dynamite.
AJ Lee shoots on the Punk Drew McIntyre feud.
And WWE are cutting house shows yet again.
I'm Adam Wilborn.
I'm Michael Hamflett.
This is the news. So loads of talk recently, Hamflett, about what is going on with the Hurt Business, although we can't call them that anymore.
No.
We have to call them the Hurt Syndicate.
I like it.
I'm talking of MVP, Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, etc. A load of speculation about them potentially heading to AEW. Of course, we talked a while back about Bobby Lashley probably heading there eventually. He's doing a bit of stuff in Japan, I think he was talking about doing, and just exploring his options, basically. But yes, this recent trademark that's been filed, this reported by Fightful Select, by the way, could indicate the future of the former Hurt Business. The Hurt Syndicate was filed as a trademark by Totally Harmless Concept LLC a couple of weeks ago.
Seems fair.
After previously filing for trademarks on other MVP-related phrases and names. There were discussions, Fightful Select confirmed, to continue a faction similar to the Hurt Business outside of WWE, and AEW has spoken to the likes of Bobby Lashley, MVP, and Shelton Benjamin in recent weeks. No word on yet of a deal being done, but of course Bobby Lashley's deal with WWE expired, and MVP and Shelton Benjamin are free agents. So arguably, I mean, when this was first reported by Fightful Select, they were saying we haven't heard anything about them potentially showing up, for example, in the Casino Gauntlet tag thing last night on Dynamite. That obviously didn't happen, but they could show up tonight. They're filming Collision tonight in the Nutter Center, or they could show up anytime now in AEW, basically. I like the name, the Hurt Syndicate.
Me too. This we've, I think, had lots of conversations in the past over the, what the real legacy of the Hurt Business is, and then how popular the Hurt Business are in spite of that.
Yes.
Like, if you watched week by week, and a lot of it was during the pandemic, so I completely understand if you didn't, but it wasn't like they won titles, and they, ultimately, like, MVP and Bobby Lashley's relationship especially helped propel him to the top of the card. And that was like an overdue WWE title reign for Bobby Lashley, a star in the making going back years. But the Hurt Business still, if you trace it back, never really probably got the opportunities that the stable warranted and the support warranted. There were moments, there were flashpoints, there were title belts. However,
was that moment they employed a photographer specifically on a PLE to take photos of them, if I remember rightly?
Yeah, and they looked amazing, and I think that's what people remember. They're like sort of preserved in amber through incredible still images, but week upon week upon week, it was kind of very much that old-headed last days of Vince McMahon things where acts would fight to survive on the show. We used to sort of talk about like Sasha and Bayley in the same situation. If the stories or characters were going well, you just felt every single week they were getting to TV and riding their luck.
When are they going to ruin it?
Yeah, and that was the case ultimately with the Hurt Business on a couple of occasions as well.
Some got rid of Cedric and Shelton for a bit, didn't they?
Yeah,
Cedric obviously was still in NXT now.
It never really felt as if like they were WWE as a company, especially truthfully when Triple H took over, were that committed to bringing the group back. You know, MVP's been quite outspoken about his problems with Triple H and why he feels some of that fell down.
Bobby did stuff with Street Profits.
That again was very like sort of half-baked, truthfully. So I think there are several reasons why the Hurt Business as a commodity, and now obviously the Hurt Syndicate, feel as valuable as they do. Bobby Lashley was one of those names that I think when he got released, everybody did the dance that we all do so many times. You know, AEW, you got enough wrestlers, get that one. That happens constantly, but then as an act as well, you think, well, that sort of absolutely justifies bringing in Shelton Benjamin as well. MVP's always been integral to the top tier success of Bobby Lashley, in my opinion. I think they're a fantastic double act. I'm kind of hyped for this.
Syndicate makes me think of Mission Impossible as well. Not one of the greatest film franchises of all time.
Did you catch yourself qualifying there? What even competes at this point?
I don't know. Toy Story's pretty goated.
Toy Story is pretty good. Have you seen the one still of Toy Story 5? It's like all the toys looking like, oh no, because the kids just staring at the screen. Yeah.
Hey, get your head out your goddamn phone, kids. Come on, there's a goddamn world out there to explore.
After you've watched this video, don't come to this video or indeed the debates for your political commentary.
No,
to Toy Story 5.
Yes, like, share, subscribe, watch all our videos, then go outside.
I'm playing with your toys.
Sorry to our American viewers, I couldn't help myself.
You know what? We don't need to apologise to all American viewers because we can celebrate with the ones in Queens, New York. The ones that are going to be attending Grand Slam, and AEW presumably hope that's a lot because they kind of tore up their planned Grand Slam show last night.
World title match off, gone.
Rebooked it, but with kind of incredible results. So the as you mentioned, the Casino Gauntlet was to determine number one contenders to the Young Bucks, which is going to take place on that show. That was one.
Spoilers.
Oh yeah.
Stamps.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
What are you doing watching this if you've not watched Dynamite?
Spoilers. That was won by the Don Callis family of a fashion, I guess. Will Ospreay returned to do a favour alongside his friend Kyle Fletcher.
Should have been the Outrunners.
Should have been the Outrunners. They were incredibly over in the match. But yes, Ospreay and Fletcher versus the Young Bucks. Oh my God.
Yes.
That could be something there. But
an all WCPW affair.
Indeed.
You're welcome.
But the big changes are taking place at the top of the card.
They are.
Bryan Danielson was set to take on Darby Allin, who had, of course, won the match shortly before Wembley, I think it was. So he's had that one in place for a while. But Dynamite opened with Jon Moxley finally getting his conversation with Darby that he's been looking for weeks.
Always grumpy, isn't he?
He's a very moody man these days. But for good reasons for a change after the last couple of years of being kind of boring.
Yeah.
He had obviously put the bag on Bryan's head at the pay-per-view, so Bryan was nowhere to be found, and he said, look, Darby, the title match is off anyway. And to be honest, I would never lie to you, and I don't think you're ready. Give me the shot. I was like, no. But I'm an honourable man. I thought you were too. I looked up to you, and look what you've done now. Like, you can fight me for it if you want. I'll kick you ass, I'll prove a point. So Moxley and Darby Allin will take place at Grand Slam. That's Mox turning the screen off. Moxley and Darby Allin will take place at Grand Slam in a number one contenders match. However, later on in the show, upon hearing that Bryan Danielson's Grand Slam whiteboard spot was suddenly free, Nigel McGuinness burst into Tony Khan's room and took the match.
Snaked in there. I've had one match, Tony. I'd like the world title match.
He's been working this ever since he arrived in AEW. It's been this lovely bit of lore between them dating back to their incredible Ring of Honor series. And he got the match, and then Tony Khan put the tweet out and put the graphic up, and he was very clear to specify. He said, Wednesday, 25th of September, New York, Grand Slam, AEW World Champion versus Bryan Danielson versus Nigel McGuinness, only if doctors clear him. It's even on the graphic. You know, there with little asterisks there.
Better. Be rubbing. Yeah, he's not well enough, sorry.
So they've been able to make the graphic, but I think they're trying to get around the fact that Danielson was out, and then he was suddenly back in, because if you're Darby Allin at this point, you're like,
yes.
Wait a second. But yeah, I think they've got to where they want for like two pretty massive marquee matches for that Grand Slam card. Or, like two massive singles matches.
Couple of weeks away, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really, really looking forward to this. I liked the angle with Moxley last night. We'll talk more about it, of course, on the Dynamite Review podcast with Michael Sidgwick later on today. What Culture Wrestling podcast, wherever you get your podcast from. And yeah, we were hoping when Nigel returned at Wembley that meant they were going to try and squeeze in a Danielson match.
Yeah.
We were trying to organise it, so it's like, God, he's got to face Darby, presumably he's going to face Mox. You can assume a match with Claudio and probably Pac along the way as well. Christian Cage got the thing.
Yeah.
So you're like, right, when are they going to fit this in? I assume Danielson may drop the title by the end of the year. He said he needs neck surgery and did make a promise to his family he was going to stop doing this as regularly.
Yeah.
And yet they've gone, okay, what about last year we cram as much as possible? It's like me doing an essay this. Oh, God. It's due tomorrow. Right, I'll write it all now. Let's go. But they've done this. Nigel McGuinness, fantastic that he's just got in there,
funny,
got himself a match, and it'll be a fun couple of weeks build for that.
Yeah.
I've no doubt he'll really enjoy. I hope he's still on Collision, just shooting left, right, and centre, building that up.
To an audience, a specific audience, this feels absolutely massive, and AEW have always courted that audience anyway, and it's going to go down incredibly well in the building on the night.
And you know, I have my sources, of course, within AEW, my little birds.
You're the OTJ.
They're actually, is it Arthur Ashe, I assume? Yeah, Arthur Ashe Stadium for Grand Slam in a couple of weeks. Exclusive from What Culture here, they're actually not going to be fighting in Arthur Ashe Stadium this match. They're going to tell everyone, come outside, come to the car park area, because the match is going to take place actually in the foliage surrounding Arthur Ashe Stadium. That's right, they're going to be fighting in the bushes. So, and if you don't like that joke,
sometimes I feel like I'm struggling in an oasis. And that's why I drink Mountain Dew, because it quenches the thirst.
Do you ever feel like a plastic bag? Right, Danielson's head. Kids, don't try this at home. And you think we get unprofessional when Andy Murray's not here? Huh?
We wrote that. That was
scripted.
That was acting.
There's a teleprompter underneath that camera.
My little, trying to, remembering that I'd actually swilled this can out to put on the set, and then it was just water when I drank it. Effectively, tap and mix Mountain Dew at the bottom. I actually drank that.
Yeah. AJ Lee, let's talk about her now. She has not really broken her silence, but she's had her say regarding her,
sort of brilliant, this.
Her husband fighting an insane Scottish man, basically. She was in a recent comic book interview with Hayley Miller, to which, regarding the Punk McIntyre feud, she said this: I mean this in the most loving way. I have no idea what's going on.
Class.
She talks about her connection with wrestling. She continues, I don't want to watch my husband wrestle live because I'm scared. It's like a weird juju thing. But it's kind of like when you go home from work, do you open up your email? It's kind of like that. It feels like that, if people can understand. I'm sort of on the periphery. I get kind of looped in mostly for women's stuff because that's what I'm interested in, understandably. My husband will let me know who's the cool chick at the moment. I'm so obsessed with people like Bayley and Naomi. Those are my girls, so that's what's interesting to me. I kind of don't know what's happening in the storyline, though, she continues. I know that my dog is famous all of a sudden. AJ, he's been famous for a long old time. Yeah. He's got some surprise merch coming. I've been privy to that. Shut up and take my money. Yeah. But it's cool. I'm happy that he's happy and healthy and just killing it. I'm proud. Not necessarily healthy. He's just got his head caved in, love. But please bring her back. I miss her. She's great, isn't she?
I think that's quite a unique perspective, isn't it?
Yeah. How was work, dear? Oh, he shoved the bracelet in your mouth, did he? Okay.
We make assumptions, I guess, about how wrestlers' partners would view what they do for a living, whether or not they would want to, like, I don't know about you, like, I get home from work, my wife doesn't give a tiny toss the nonsense that we come out with online. She doesn't really care about any of our content, she quite likes Stacks. But then again, like, it's probably because she's wrestled on TV and they're just elevated personalities, aren't they? But yeah, like, it's interesting that AJ Lee, not just as a partner, is sort of, nice one, glad you had a good day at work, what are we having for tea? Yeah. But also has this, like, prior link to this world, so she also is very acutely aware of some of the risks. So it's not just, oh yeah, my partner's a wrestler, so they could hurt themselves every single day. It's like, and I remember that pain because I went through it too. And when she mentions Bayley specifically and Naomi, obviously she wrestled with Naomi and like had the moments with Bayley, wore the I'm a Hugger shirt on the last night on Raw, had the little interactions.
Don't tease me.
I want all this stuff very much. Every time that clip gets shared, for like a split second, I get worked. You know when you see her and Punk doing the drills for heels, where they do like the kind of like head scissor sequence and stuff. You're like. Somebody has lied in the caption. Training video released last night on Instagram. What? I get worked by it 100% of the time. It's nice that she's even willing to talk about this sort of stuff because if you read a book or for years following, I think she was glad to be shot of it.
Yes.
Maybe both of them were in that household, to be honest. But Punk's return to wrestling has, of course, generated all this conversation.
I'm just hoping he said, look, love, I'll go there for a year, see what it's all like. Yeah. See if it's properly changed, and then come on over. Get her in the Rumble for me.
I don't think we're even speaking just for ourselves here. Can you imagine how much someone like a Roxanne Perez or a Cora Jade would want this return?
Absolutely.
Like,
I think they've personally said that and reached out for a bit in the past as well.
It's all to play. That'll be Punk doing the needle. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say anything, but if you want to get in touch with her, here's a number.
Yeah. I also, it's not the end, though. It's not the worst situation for her to be in. I think the worst was always poor Renee Paquette when Dean Ambrose was on his tear. Oh, you all smell, and and he was like going insane with Seth Rollins. And every week in commentary, they'd be like, "What the hell's going on, Renee? What's Dean saying when he gets home?
Explain the gas mask, Renee."
I don't know. He doesn't know what this bloody storyline is either.
Yeah, do you want me to explain it, Corey? He turned up to work, and our boss handed him it as a prop. Yeah. And a giant cartoon needle showed up his ass. Like there.
Babe, where I put my gas mask? Where's... I'll get one on the way in or something, I suppose.
It's a different time in WWE now.
A very different time.
And could that be any more illustrated by them running even less house shows in 2025? It's so strange for...
I've got nothing left.
It is so odd as an older head. I mean, we're all in our 30s.
We're all in our 30s.
Fact.
Yeah.
But it's so strange for an older head to be reporting stories like this. I'm not reporting them, I'm a grubby aggravator. I'm reading stories from the brilliant postwrestling.com.
I'm reporting, they're fighting in the bushes. One true journalist right here, OTJ, baby.
Who have reported on an interview with the TKO president, Mark Shapiro, of course, kind of the overlord of both WWE and UFC. He was speaking at the Cornucopia and Technology Conference run by Goldman Sachs. We couldn't make it.
We got every bloody year, and then the one year we missed it.
There's a WWE story. Sod's law. But yes, there was a very interesting wrestling note for fans of our side of the TKO arrangement regarding house shows. House shows have, been on the decline since the pandemic, and that trend is continuing rather aggressively, Wilborn.
Go on.
He said, we're cutting events at WWE. Yeah, sorry. We're taking, I love this. You know how, like, Vince McMahon just hated the phrase house shows, so it became live events, and you're like, well, I sort of get it. It's a bit more glamorous, a bit more promotory speak, isn't it? We're taking our low-margin, marginally profitable events untelevised.
Not as good a name.
Not quite as catchy. that Vince put in place to grow the brand. You're taking the show on the road, and we've got to go to every city we can to grow the WWE brand. Well, the WWE brand, what we still have to grow, is on fire right now.
Yeah, we don't need to dry.
We don't need to carry these marginally profitable events. What was 300 events last year will be roughly 250 this year, and next year it will be close to 200. Like, you know, there would have once been the day where the wrestlers would talk about wrestling. Yeah, it might have been wrestler speak, but like there would have been times where some of them would have been doing 6-7 days a week, twice on Sundays, the old Steve Austin phrase. Matinee shows. Hogan worked 400 days one year because he was able to time travel, what with Japan and Australia and everything.
Simple physics, guys.
But yeah, the 2024 schedule, he drops those numbers, the 300 to 250 to 200, per the Post Wrestling aggregation of this. Brilliant work as usual from Post. 2024 schedule had just 11 house shows total.
Jeez.
So like it really is getting cut and cut. You really don't remember the clips. There would always be clips of house shows around TV. There's now Raw on Mondays, SmackDown on Fridays. You've got the PLEs on Saturdays or Sundays. NXT will often run a town on a Sunday around a WWE PLE. So yeah, the wrestlers, I guess, are getting not exactly a lighter schedule, but they're getting the lightest WWE schedule yet. It's let's not pretend it's for that reason. It's all about cost. Yes. It's all about them doing the maths on how much these house shows making versus how much it's costing to get people out on the road.
Really was blown wide open by the Pando, that wasn't it? Yeah, like we're making more money somehow.
Like the production costs, the how much they're making on merch versus how much it costs to get it all around the America, like sort of all the different states that want to get the company. So yeah, less house shows. I assume this is broadly good news for the wrestlers, but a lot of this used to be linked to pay. I don't know if it still is. I don't know if the contract's structured around.
I hope that they're just they're just getting paid the same amount, but they don't have to bump as much, which is always preferable.
That's what you want
for them. But yeah, a bit gutting for fans because, like you say, with WWE being as hot as it is, you could arguably say they could. I know it wouldn't earn them that much money, but they could double the amount of house shows and still sell most of them out.
And that's how it. Like, if you ever go back and look at the results from, say, the original '80s Hulkamania era, there was A, B, and C tier shows. Yeah. So you might not have been getting anyone you've ever seen on TV, but the WWF's coming to town. That was the strategy.
We go, yeah.
Hit as many towns. Hit as many towns as you can. It's interesting the way all this has changed now.
Yeah. Bit gutting for fans, obviously. Yeah. Annoying that. Hamlet and I are speculating. So it was 2023 was 300. 2024. 250, 2026, 200. Yeah. By 2030, they'll be doing one show a year with 100,000 seats.
That's it. The biggest drawing house show of all time because it's the one singular. They'll find he's in one of them ridiculous, day one for a bit. Yeah. You're like the New Year's Eve house show. Watch the ball drop from Times Square. We're going to put the ring in the middle.
The only time you get to see them at house shows. You might as well come.
I'll book the ticket actually. Yeah. This is worked. Yet another successful business.
Make sure we get tickets to that Cornucopia conference for next year.
Sorry, guys.
But let us know your thoughts on that and all today's news stories in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Of course, ups and downs coming your way later on today regarding AEW Dynamite. But for now, why not check out this video right here? We'll see you soon.